New NBA season, new arena potentially on the horizon. 76th place at Market East is a proposed indoor area and arena in the heart of Philadelphia with apartment units, retail stores, and of course, that arena. Investors are working to bring this $1.5 billion stadium to life. No cost to taxpayers is one of what's been touted about this, but it is facing opposition from nearby neighborhoods who think construction might reduce traffic to their business. Will the development be a slam dunk or is it a long shot? Big question here. For more on this, we've got David Adelman, who is the co-owner of my beloved Philadelphia 76ers and Darco Capital founder, here with us on Yahoo Finance. Look, you've got two native Greater Philadelphians here, so no doubt the Philadelphia fandom is running strong during the segment. But we got to ask, there has been a lot of pushback with this build out regarding some of the local residents, business owners that would be displaced here. How are you continuing to engage the city in conversations as well as local residents, business owners in the area?
Well, it's always good to have some Sixer fans here with me. But look, I think if you know Philadelphia, and you both know it, Philly is a creature of habit. We are not used to change. My vision is Philadelphians deserve great things. And so to be able to bring, as I tell everyone, 27 other NBA teams have downtown arenas. We're going to be number 28. So I'm not inventing the urban arena. But change is hard for some people. But what's unique about our project is we're taking a mall that is downtown in Philadelphia and repurposing one entertainment complex for another. And so, we're not displacing one resident, one business. We're taking a box of the mall and building the arena on top of that footprint, on top of the busiest subway station in Philadelphia.
David, walk us through just the process of how you draw up a project like a new arena. And when you talk about the fact that there has been some pushback, what are you doing to get some of those who are opposed to this idea on board?
Well, I think it's important in any large-scale development to listen. We've done over 85 community meetings with small business owners, large business owners, small community groups, nonprofits, to get feedback. And that feedback has continued to evolve our project. So when you talk about residential, we originally didn't have residential slated as part of the project, but the local community said we'd like some affordable housing. We're going to dedicate 20% of the new units as affordable housing units. Some people said, we want better access to the subway station. We're raising the bowl on the arena so that you can give a Market Street entrance to a subway station that currently only enters from the rear of the street. So I think the goal is to listen, hear people's perspective, and try and evolve your plan with that feedback.
David, who was involved in funding this? Because you'd mentioned, and the plans is that there would be no cost to taxpayers, but we know that there are some kind of mega profiles that could be involved in making sure that this is funded correctly, and especially at a time where we do know that the credit conditions and financing some of these larger complexes, larger constructs, that's coming at a premium here too. So, who are some of the big players that are really throwing some weight around in order to make this come to fruition?
Well, I'm really blessed to have two great partners in the Sixers, Josh Harris and David Blitzer, and they share my vision to do this and not take any city money. Let the city of Philadelphia has a lot of needs. Our school district has a lot of needs. And what's really exciting is that this is going to be privately funded by the three of us and the team. And most importantly, it's going to create $1.5 billion of net new taxes to the city, the school district, and the state. So not only are we not taking any funds, but we're actually giving back to the local community. And so we're very excited to be able to do that.
David, you're a longtime player in Philadelphia real estate specifically. You're CEO of Campus Apartments. Just give us a sense of what the landscape, what the industry is like today, given those headwinds, given some of the risks that we've been talking about now for quite some time.
Look, Philadelphia, just like every other city, is trying to get people back to work, back in the office. You have, unfortunately, some office buildings that are just not going to make it or on watch lists and things like that. But yet, we are seeing some other companies bring employees back. And I think that's how you kind of revitalize city. But, certainly higher interest rates is challenging for real estate. We're going to see that for a while. But, residential is still doing well. Multifamily is doing well. Industrial is doing well. So, it's not all doom and gloom, but there's certainly some challenges. But that's kind of what happens with these cycles.
Additionally here, you've also had a storied history in some venture capital projects as well here. When you think about those companies and where they may be looking for funding, where they're well capitalized right now, especially as a lot of small businesses, startups, as well as those companies that were in one of their series rounds, they're all coming out of this kind of financial and banking crisis that took place earlier this year and trying to figure out, okay, where do we tap our cash outlets? How are we making sure that we've got enough in lines of credit and ability to navigate through what's going to be an uncertain time as we're trying to figure out if we're going to see a shallow or mild recession even. What are you hearing from some of the CEOs, the founders of those companies that are trying to navigate this period right now?
What we're hearing is that, it's challenging, but I think, to a certain extent, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, some of these founders were spoiled, candidly. Valuations were high, and they were giving investors like me and other funds, we were on a shot clock that you had 24 hours to match these terms or do this. And I think a little rationalization in the venture market is actually a healthy thing. But that said, you're going to see some companies not make it, and the strong companies will have to go back out for capital. Maybe the valuations change, but if you have a good business plan, a good management team, you kind of ride through that.
Just lastly here, we got to talk basketball with you since we have you. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't. What's up with this play-in tournament? Not the play-in tournament. What's up with the in-season tournament? Because it's been interesting as a fan to try and figure out, all right, what does this mean? What am I watching? What's the importance of this game? Because before it was just, hey, it's the regular season, and once we get past the All-Star break, that's when things really start to make sense. From your perspective as a co-owner, what is the pulse among owners of teams about this in-season tournament?
Well, and not to mention the weird colored courts you probably saw over the last week.
These are wild.
Teams,
it's
right?
crazy. It's like having to watch Boise State play like every night of the week. You got wild colors out there, David.
We had some wild colors we had in Philadelphia the other night, kind of this red and gray, and it was definitely different. But I think you said something really interesting that, people wait till after the All-Star break to start getting excited and think about things. And I think, the league thought, like, how do we create this kind of hub right now before the holidays and create some excitement? And so, what's better than a little competition? They created prize money for the coaching staff, for the players. And so a little bit of excitement, a little bit of energy, and kind of a, interesting part of the season. I think it's creative.
Sixers are off to a pretty good start here, David. We'll be rooting for them. David Adelman, co-owner of the Sixers and also Darco Capital founder. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.